DJ Carrington is looking around the room like, oh my God, I've never been in this much fire. I mean, it's getting so bad that now her endorsements are potentially about to pull out on representing DJ Carrington.
This just goes to show that DJ has no self-awareness in what's going on. DJ Carrington runs on threads immediately. White privilege at Indiana Fever. White privilege. You running around with blonde hair. It looked like you trying to be white. It looked like you trying to be a white girl. What are you talking about, white privilege? The white girl just got a technical foul for something she didn't even do. What are you talking about, white privilege, bro? This is why she should be banned from the league. They always run.
It states here, Reebok is reportedly dropping their endorsement for DJ Carrington after she attacked Sophie Cunningham. Let's go.
DJ Carrington is facing intense backlash after a controversial foul on Sophie Cunningham turned what could have been a routine basketball incident into a much bigger story. The foul was upgraded to a flagrant 2, resulting in Carrington's ejection, but the controversy escalated when she took to social media and posted white privilege while tagging the Indiana Fever. The post immediately sparked debate across basketball and social media, with critics arguing that Carrington had brought race into an incident that was primarily about
when this young lady got ejected from a WNBA game the other day for a flagrant foul on Sophie Cunningham. Did y'all see that? She got ejected from the game for that flagrant foul right there. And I'll be damned if that wasn't a flagrant 2. She mugged her. Damn near came across like decapitating her, for crying out loud. That was definitely a hard foul. Make no mistake about it. Nobody can argue about it. You can say what you want. We know what we saw. No way around it. The Johnny Carrington foul was clearly unnecessary. It was a flagrant foul penalty 2. It was absolutely positively correct call. It was called the flagrant 2. That's a flagrant 2 every single damn time in the NBA and the
incident happened during a nationally televised game between the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever. Sophie Cunningham took off on a fast break, seemingly heading toward an easy layup, when DJ Carrington chased her down from behind and made heavy contact around Cunningham's head and neck, sending her crashing to the floor. After reviewing the play, officials upgraded the foul to a flagrant 2 and ejected Carrington. The severity of the contact became the central issue, with critics arguing that Carrington never made a play on the ball and that the contact
tweeted out white privilege from the locker room of a game that she was playing in. Get this, she fouled Sophie Cunningham hard. Sophie Cunningham, obviously a white person, fouled her hard. Flagrant 2, gets ejected, goes to the locker room and tweets out white privilege in the middle of the game. Now here's the kicker to me. A flagrant 2 has to be contact that can lead to an injury that looks excessive. DJ, it was about as excessive as possible. If there was any evidence of there being white privilege.
The controversy exploded when Carrington posted white privilege from the locker room shortly after being ejected. She also tagged the Indiana Fever, making the post appear directly connected to the incident. The timing created a massive backlash, with critics questioning why Carrington immediately brought race into the conversation instead of simply accepting the ejection and moving on. Carrington later pushed back against that interpretation, insisting she never said the foul itself was called because Cunningham was white, but by then the original
that this is black privilege, to be totally honest with you, because her posting this white racist comment right after assaulting Sophie Cunningham on the court is actually black privilege, because she knows the WNBA won't do a single thing of significance about it. And imagine if the roles were reversed. If Sophie made a comment similar to this, then she'd likely never play again. And actually, we just saw this from Coach Sandy Brondello. She got disciplined for making, I believe, a pretty innocent, maybe, offhand comment about talking about Angel Reese and saying that she's a protected species. She was suspended and disciplined. And I think if that's the standard, then...
Former NFL player and sports commentator Emmanuel Aiko publicly criticized Carrington's post, arguing that the specific foul had nothing to do with race. Aiko pointed out that Cunningham was hit in the head and that the official's decision was based on the nature of the contact. Carrington responded directly on social media, telling Aiko that he had misunderstood her statement and arguing that she was educated on the subject of white privilege. Instead of ending the controversy, however, the exchange created another wave of discussion.
I'm wondering, is this all some sort of bizarre PR strategy to attract eyeballs, or is the WNBA fundamentally broken?
No. That's you because you're a good person trying to find some kind of rational reason for doing this other than what it is. It's pure and simple racism. and hate. They're mad that the best player in the league is a heterosexual white woman. Let's just be honest. She's not one of the confidants in their creed. And so therefore it's been a concentrated effort to go after her. Even her head coach doesn't stand by. So, and I think it's hilarious, and at the same time, they don't know what a woman is. And I'm very proud of Freedom and the other gentlemen for finding out who they are. And I wish them the best. And hopefully the league will, since it's an all-tolerant league and their head coaches wear shirts about trans women count, well, here's two. And I hope they give them their opportunity. And the young lady in France as well. So I think it's a league that has got away with being racist and disgusting to people, and now they're Americans are smart to it. So hopefully they get some of their own. But I wouldn't let my daughters watch.
As the controversy continued, Carrington's explanations became another major talking point. She described the foul as unfortunate and unintentional, while also explaining that she was returning from a foot injury and believed her timing may have been affected. At the same time, she maintained that her white privilege post was not necessarily referring to the foul itself. That left many fans confused about what the original message actually meant. Meanwhile, Cunningham took a much calmer approach, saying she believed the league was addressing the situation. And
we are paying attention to what DiJonai Carrington did to Sophie Cunningham. It was not a race-based decision. And to call that a white privilege-based foul is to completely undermine the term of white privilege and to also completely ignore the rules in basketball. You hit her in the head, you drew blood, you didn't connect with the ball at all whatsoever. So to me, it was just very ignorant and to some degree asinine by DiJonai Carrington to suggest that that call was based on white privilege. Have we seen examples of white players make that same foul and get away with it? Yes. Have we seen examples of black players make that same foul and get away with it? Yes. There was no white privilege involved in that specific call. DiJonai, you hit her in the head and you drew blood.
The situation then moved beyond basketball and into the business world. Carrington had a major endorsement relationship with Reebok, making the controversy potentially significant for her career away from the court. As backlash spread online,
game for the rest of the season counts. And the fact that she let her hate and her ego cost the game for her entire team is so toxic. It goes to show that she has very little respect for her teammates because they all work their absolute asses off. They've all got something to prove. They know that, they started the season with all this hype. They didn't kick it off very strong. And so they have all been working their asses off, coming together, playing patiently. When I say patiently, they've been playing patiently, learning how to actually run the court together. A lot of new pieces. There's been some injuries. There's been people returning from injury. There's been a lot of changes. The fact that they were just on the rise, and as a Fever fan, I can say they were actually schooling us in the first quarter. They came back when we were up 8 points. DiJonai herself was balling out, and she just cost the game.
Some fans began calling on Reebok to end its relationship with Carrington, with social media users flooding the company's platforms with criticism. Reports then began circulating that Reebok was potentially moving toward terminating its relationship with Carrington. If confirmed, losing a major endorsement could have serious consequences.
White privilege after getting tossed from the game, but says it wasn't about the foul. Can you explain this?
No, I can't. When she tweeted white privilege, she did it so quickly, it was almost as though she had the phone in her pocket after this foul and she got ejected. So, to say she wasn't referring to this play or getting kicked out and saying that the only reason she got kicked out and it got upgraded is because Sophie Cunningham is white is crazy. It was a crazy thing to tweet, maybe crazier than to try to act like it had nothing to do with the play. So I have no idea what she's talking about. I don't think anybody can have any idea what she's talking about.
The biggest argument surrounding Carrington's situation is that the foul itself may not have been what created the long-term controversy. Hard fouls happen in professional basketball. Players get ejected, and the story often disappears within days. The bigger issue is what happened.
Oh my God, it's getting real. It is getting very much real. For in the field, for them pockets. That's what I like to see. pockets getting hit hard, bro. Hard. Because somebody need to hold these players accountable for the stupidity they have been putting out. Because it has been a lot of stupidity. And to add even more salt to injury, thousands of people are calling for Reebok to drop their endorsement for Dejanay Carrington after she attacked Sophie Cunningham. Now, this was from earlier.
Afterward, Carrington's social media post, her public exchange of Manuel Aiko, and her later explanations kept the controversy alive. For sponsors, that can become a major concern because brands don't just look at an athlete's performance. They also consider public image, professionalism, and
people do some foolishness. They got to be held accountable just like any other damn race. And I'm telling you right now, she need to be held accountable. So Reebok, stick it to her. Because what she did was ruined a brand deal like no other. She ain't even all that on the basketball court anyways. Common sense would have told you not to clothesline Sophie Cunningham from hell. Because you want to know why? The backlash you're going to get from that decision will affect your pockets. And I'm so happy that these brands are now seeing what we've been seeing. A whole lot of BS going on from these players. And I'm telling you right now, more players need to lose brand deals when they do stupidity, especially to
DJ Carrington's situation has now become much bigger than one basketball game. A flagrant foul led to an ejection. The white privilege post created a national debate, and a continuing backlash reportedly put her endorsement relationships under pressure. At the same time, Carrington remained
getting thrown out of the game for her ridiculous foul on Sophie Cunningham, went to social media and claimed white privilege. To do that, Emmanuel Acho basically pushed back and said you can't call everything white privilege. It undercuts the idea so many have talked about. And then Dejanay went to X and responded to Emmanuel Acho. He said, I never once claimed that the assessment of the foul was white privilege. That was your assumption. Try exercising your critical thinking skills. Know you studied psych. Furthermore, I'm the last thing from ignorant or asinine when it comes to speaking on white privilege. Do your research on that one. Actually went to school, one of the top universities, might I add, to educate myself on this exact subject. I would never use that term as a rhetorical weapon, knowing the historical and social weight it holds without having the proper evidence to substantiate it. So, in your face, Annual. What I want to know is, then why were you posting white privilege in the locker room immediately after being ejected? What were you? Randomly sitting in the locker room having just been ejected, thinking about when you posted white privilege, and by the way, tagged the Indiana Fever.
Remains a talented professional basketball player whose on-court performance speaks for itself. Whether this controversy becomes a temporary setback or a major turning point in her career would depend on what happens next. The original foul may eventually be forgotten, but the decisions made after the whistle could have a much longer impact.